to the documentary segment of the Dunestone Redemption, or DunestoneRedemption.com, not the DunestoneRedemption.com.
That's right.
I do that all the time on accident. So Eric picked a documentary this month called Leaving Neverland, and we're no longer friends. So that's all we got to say.
This is the last time I get to pick the documentary.
I'm glad you guys tuned in. This is our last podcast. Opie and I are never going to talk to him ever again, ever. So you picked it. You can start us off.
Now, I don't think what we're saying is that the documentary itself was poorly put together.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Absolutely.
I'm going to say that as well.
I'm going to say it was horrible.
You are.
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not.
We'll
feel
get to that more later.
The IMDb score for this is 7 point, and the Rotten Tomatoes score is 86%.
Seems high.
So people are liking it.
Huh. So I picked this movie.
Just Micheal Jackson fans?
Maybe.
I mean, are they not watching it?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I am a huge Micheal Jackson fan. I mean, just huge.
You were.
No, I still do. Music. I love the music.
That's my big question.
The piece about growing up, I like in the third grade, I hurt myself. I was home, stitches in my arm right here. And I tell you that to tell you this, that my grandmother bought me a record player and bought me the Thriller album.
Nice.
And I am in third grade. I'm 8 years old, and
Grandma's a badass.
Exactly.
I like that.
And I was like, "You are the coolest grandma
Right?
ever."
Yeah.
And grandma
Right?
ever.
Yeah.
And so Micheal Jackson music has always been in my life. This documentary has none of that. So you can take that piece of it out. Wow. I don't even know how to like to have an open discussion kind of. How do you guys feel about
Why don't you kick that off?
way?
You go next here with your thoughts.
So this is obviously a film quite controversial because they are definitely showing one side of this coin.
Yep.
And the side of the coin that they're showing is absolutely believable. Unfortunately, folks, this isn't the first documentary about Micheal Jackson that's gone out. There was one that was on network television maybe like 10 years ago or something while he was still alive. That was just documenting all of these allegations and stuff against him. And we've got to, at this point, start saying, okay, these are true.
You think so? I mean, I'm not saying I disagree. I'm saying, are we sure of this?
Well, here's the thing. So they start off, it's the story of two different guys.
Right.
And they do a really good job, documentary-wise, of interweaving those stories.
So that because they're very similar. Right.
See, I'm going to counterpoint that. I thought that killed the documentary, but go ahead. I'll explain.
They were weaving their stories?
Yes, because they were too similar.
Well, here's the deal. Did you lose track of who was who?
I did too. Yes. Absolutely.
So as a documentary,
it was horrible.
Was that a genius maneuver or a terrible maneuver?
I think it was terrible because I would honestly rewind my cell phone. I was watching this intently.
Right.
And I had to go back and be like, wait. Are we talking about Jimmy or are we talking about...
Is this
Jordan?
Or not Jordan. That doesn't have an
Jimmy
accent?
or Wade?
Jimmy or Wade.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Why did the rest of his family have an accent, but he didn't?
I think because he grew up here mostly.
I guess so.
That's what I was thinking.
So.
And they looked alike, like physical looks. Even when they
were adults.
No, jump in. We're having an open discussion
here. When they were adults, we're looking.
Yeah.
So the thing to me that kind of drove home that I'm really thinking this is true. Okay, they presented no evidence. There was no corroboration by anybody else, but the stories, the setup, the manipulation, the grooming was so similar on both of them that I completely lost track of who was who.
But don't you think that? And I'm not defending any of it, okay? But don't you think that they probably heard the other stories in the circles that they were in, and in the testimony and all of this case being presented, that maybe that's why their stories are similar?
No, I think it was his MO. I think this was Micheal Jackson's way to groom
I just don't know.
So, I mean, to me, it was genius because not only did he court the boys,
he courted the family,
the mothers.
Right.
and he was trying to figure out exactly what his level of control over these boys was going to be based on what he gave the mothers.
Right.
Now, these mothers need to be shot.
Oh my God!
You know, and what was weird is none of the family really seems to have any anger
towards it,
in their tone when they're talking about him.
But they have anger towards the mother, though. The kids do.
Wade's older brother was the only one that showed, like, you could tell he was pissed talking about it. But all the girl, I'd agree with that.
And even the boys were like, at no point did I feel threatened or endangered, or it was, you know, I don't know. He was a serial pedophile who was reliving his coming to sexuality story over and over again.
So I'll tell you what,
these other children.
Let me tell you my thoughts, and I'll tee off on a bunch of questions for you both. Okay, non-linear story, but like they tried to weave the two of them to where, again, Jimmy and Wade were so much alike, and their stories were so similar. Even the mothers, because what they do is they'd go do this cut scene of something happening previously, but either the mother or Jimmy or someone was talking over that cut scene, and they sound so similar. Like, okay, are we talking about Wade or are we talking about Jimmy?
Yeah.
And I'd go back.
I do agree with that.
And I think it was too long. It was 4 hours. This was a 4-hour documentary.
That's why they did that, though. I think they did it so much that you lost track of who was who.
Because they want you to think it's the same story.
This is how he grew.
I agree completely.
And
that's why they went into Jordan was the other kid.
Yeah.
And Macaulay Culkin, and it's like they're putting all those stories in, so you think he is definitely guilty of doing all the same things to the same boys.
Well, and why not get some of the people that have accused him? I guess when they signed that $25 million whatever they NDA after that, they can't talk about it.
They cannot talk about it. That's correct.
Okay, so I was wondering, where are these other people that got paid? Like, hey, the story, same thing.
Because they got $25 million.
That's ridiculous.
They can't.
I mean, I felt horrible for Jimmy and Wade and the whole story.
Absolutely.
There was just so much shaking my head. But so start off, do you think, what caused Micheal Jackson, in your opinion, to do this to these boys? Do you think this happened to him as a boy? Or what do you think made him want to be like this?
Most likely, I mean, he had there was a lot of abuse issues and stuff in their family. So I think he was emotionally stunted.
But I also believe... This is my commentary. Watching the videos of Michael and listening to the phone conversations that were recorded, that I got to be careful how I say this. I believe he truly loved these boys, like in love with these boys.
Yeah.
And so
I think
it wasn't about being, just having sex with them. It was he loved them and he needed them, and I think that there's something messed up that's what love looked like to the guy.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. He had a skewed view of the world, and he was reliving his own sexual coming of age through these boys over and over again. Mm-hmm. And if you dig down deep, there's somebody that molested Micheal Jackson at some point. And this is how they did it. I don't know if it was a manager. I don't know if it was a road manager or something, and this is how they did it. Michael really likes that guy. He holds his hand everywhere they go. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, he's doing a little touch on his hand thing, Right. I mean, it was just... And the way that the mothers presented how he would exclude the father and then slowly move the mothers further and further away. I just really felt like this guy has a formula. And... I don't know.
It had the means by which to do it.
Yeah, the story.
By which to do it.
Yeah, the stories were too similar to me. Now, I am not saying there's a lick of evidence.
Right, that's what I'm like. Where's the proof? There's got to be.
And where's all this staff, and all these people that worked for him and things like that?
At one point, none of those have ever incriminated him. No. Never, not once.
No, yeah. Do you think, obviously, I think this is a direct to the point question, do you think this tarnishes Micheal Jackson's, legacy?
Yes.
Yes?
I think his legacy was already tarnished.
That's what I'm thinking, too.
Always such a question.
Do you think this hurt any more than it already has? I mean...
Yes, I do.
I do. I think it has.
You think it has?
Well, because there's some people that are calling to have his music removed from radio station playlists.
Really? No. I mean, he, I think, in my mind, is probably the biggest star ever.
Absolutely.
Do you think there will ever be a star that big, and who is currently the most biggest star, I guess, out there? Who would you say?
Crap, I don't know. I would say right now, this minute, is Lady Gaga.
I don't think she's even compares to.
I think you're right. I would say her or Beyonce. I would say her or Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Because when people when other stars meet other stars and get starstruck, we see that happen when people meet Oprah or who's the lady that's in every movie that wins every award.
Meryl Streep.
When they freak out with Oprah, Beyonce, Meryl Streep, but I think we're so connected through Facebook and
But I don't think there's been anyone who just crosses genres like this guy has.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Presley too.
Yeah.
Elvis Presley was that.
That was true.
Bigger than life, and I just don't. I don't think we have anybody right now like that. I don't.
I don't think we need them.
No.
Social media is so big right now that you can't climb that mountain. And
you're going to be forgotten so quick because the next person's up.
You just can't do it.
Do you think they need to be so graphic in the way they describe the abuse to resonate and bring it home?
Well, you know what? I think they were just trying to present as honest of a story as they could. Again, no shred of evidence that was presented whatsoever. No corroborating even like here's the plane ticket showing that we were at this place at this time.
And it was very hard to listen to.
Yeah.
But it drove it home.
The progression of it, the way it progressed with both of them was just so similar.
That's true.
I was just like,
you guys notice how there's zero jokes in this segment?
Yeah, right.
I mean, nobody's making any funnies, so sorry.
Well, do you feel the way that, or this type of emotional manipulation was harder for them to recount than the sexual manipulation? Because when they talk about Michael, it seemed like they had nothing but love, but when they talk about the sex, like, yeah, he did this and this.
Yeah, it's interesting, though.
Yeah.
Like, they love him. Like, this is the best thing that ever happened.
Who was the dancer? Was the dancer Wade? Yeah, the dancer was Wade. And
I don't know. I could not keep.
Wade was the dancer.
They were both dancers.
Did you watch the second part though?
I did not watch the second part.
I did, yeah.
Because I felt like I got enough.
When he talked about the wife, and he was the one that did NSYNC, and like he was the one that did NSYNC, and like he was a huge he did all the choreography. I felt like he's still talking about Michael was hard, but talking about the abuse was easy for him. He'd be like, oh, he did this and this, but then it was like, well, was Michael a bad guy?
With you there.
He's like, he'd get real timid.
Well,
like he emotionally abused him so well.
He was the guy that really thought that they had a relationship.
And I noted that Jimmy seemed way more hardened and hurt and reserved about the whole situation than Wade did.
You didn't see the part with the ring box with Jimmy then, did you?
I didn't see part 2.
So Jimmy basically, Michael would manipulate him. They actually got married in Neverland. He'd buy him rings, like for certain acts. Like, oh, if you do this, because Jimmy was into jewelry.
You like jewelry? No, I did see. That was part 1.
That was part one. Yeah. And I just remember thinking, man, talk about manipulation mentally. Like, hey, if you do this, I'm going to reward you with the things you love. I'm
and that's what it was. That's what it was.
Now,
and that's how he got the parents.
Bought him a house.
Well, the whole time that he's entertaining these boys, he's got these parents off on shopping sprees and stuff. They weren't telling you how much money and stuff he was.
They went to London, Paris,
and what a great segue to where the hell do the parents get off in this situation? You pimped your kids out and let them sleep in a grown man's room.
You Kardashianed the shit out of them.
Yeah, and you took a free house. And I think full well knowing that these accusations are out there, and you're still letting your kid, this guy who's being called a molester, so you can have a home.
He courted the moms as much, though. The moms were as much to him part of the whole thing as the boys were. I mean, the one lady was saying that he would call for almost an hour a day.
Mm-hmm.
And telling I don't have anyone to talk to, and you're just freaking awesome. Would that feel to you? If Michael
the biggest pop star in the world is calling you,
biggest anything in the world. He was the Michael Jordan of Michael Jackson. So
that kind of leads into my next question, because they kind of talked about the fathers became estranged, and he did that. Mm-hmm. And there's a little bit in part 2 that the moms there were restrained relationships. But do you think they'll ever have a good connection with their mothers because of this?
Oh no,
it'll always be damaged.
Oh yeah, I think those, as they get older and older, they're going to realize more and more how abandoned they were.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were given over.
Do you think more survivors will come forward after this?
No.
I think we've heard from everybody.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
And it'll go on being, this is an accusation. We don't really know the truth. and it'll die someday. With
So I
that.
remember feeling bad for Wade's because he finally said, "I'm gonna come forward," and the judge dismissed it because of statute of limitations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the people, you didn't see this, they went off on him on social media. We did. I didn't realize that. Okay.
He sued Micheal Jackson's estate for money, and after all these years, so. Anything else we need to say? Because I got one thing I want to finish with.
One question I want to ask is about the Neverland Ranch. It's still out there. It's for sale. What do you think ever becomes of that, or do you think it's just? What do you think ever becomes of that, or do you think it just gets lost to time?
Lost to time, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be there for a long time because I think if anybody goes and tries to develop it, anything, they're gonna get a lot of.
Had the potential of being like Graceland.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But here's my problem. Every time if I were to go
happen.
in that, I'm like, oh, this is the room where Jimmy said this happened,
Yeah.
or that's the pool where Jimmy said this went down.
It will never happen.
It's never gonna happen.
Couldn't do it.
Could have been Graceland. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's beautiful.
Now Elvis was a womanizing son of a bitch.
But he didn't mess with kids.
But he didn't mess with kids. You know what I mean? So.
One of the things that I remember growing up as asking him about his relationship with certain women, and him making the answer. I know this seems silly, but his answer to one of the questions was, "I'm a gentleman." Okay, so to me, that response was, "I'm not doing anything with them because I'm a gentleman." I think the real answer is that I'm not going to tell you what's really going on because I'm a gentleman. And I watched this and I'm like, I think that was a telling moment that I'm just simply not going to tell you what my life is about or let you in because it's so weird. Rather let's say none of the abuse happened. None of it happened. You still have children sleeping in your bed that are not your family.
Yeah.
It's weird. And speaking of Presley, let's Lisa Marie.
Yeah, they don't really cover her.
Come out and say anything ever?
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, they were married for not very long, and you got the feeling it was an arranged marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, no.
Well, my problem is this.
I think she found out stuff was going on.
And took off.
And she was like, what? Oh, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
No, I think she's just as crazy as he is, so.
Well, I think she was doing it for the money. I think it was literally a royal wedding. You were gonna literally a royal wedding. You were gonna marry the Presley dynasty to the Jackson dynasty,
Yep.
and they were going to rule music land. I think she was going to parlay it into an
Graceland
album or
and
something.
all
You know,
that,
like they were gonna do a duet album or something like that. But no, that didn't happen.
Next thing we know,
because I think she was like, whoa.
Well, this is not right.
next thing we know, she's going to be marrying Nick Cage or something.
Which everyone was saying that was kind of an arranged marriage because he's this giant Elvis
Presley fan,
and
money grab for
gather
her.
of Elvis
he's got a ton of stuff,
memorabilia
doesn't he?
Well, he did.
Yeah.
He probably sold it all now because I think he's broke his joke. But
Well, and the other thing is, obviously, in my opinion, I don't think he'd get away with this today. With,
not
back
with
then,
social media.
That's what I'm thinking.
Everyone's gonna have an iPhone or people are gonna catch him doing something.
But how odd were some of those photos where he's at their house in their closet just hanging out? Like,
he
or the
wasn't
fax machine stuff.
any of it. He's not embarrassed by at the time, so he wasn't trying to hide a damn thing.
No, that's how he ingrained them into their lives.
Yep.
I think he would go there and he would find out about them.
And then just...
We got to at some point quit believing that he was this timid little idiot.
Yeah.
Cardwell.
The guy was a creative genius, but I think he was probably a genius.
Yeah.
So he's not just we all want to laugh off Mike Tyson, but the guy's making a lot of money still. He's still out there working it, and so I don't know. I think Jackson did the same thing. He just kind of was this little bitty this character that everybody was dismissive of.
Got it.
And no one really realized how shrewd he was.
So let me ask the final question here.
Final question. Dun dun.
Do you recommend this documentary?
Oh, well, I've got one before we go there,
Yes.
and I'll end it with this question.
Second to final question.
Do you really think the moms didn't know? Do you really know? Do you really? You think
they had an idea?
I think they knew and
too.
didn't care. I honestly do.
I think they suspected it, but they didn't want to destroy everything.
Didn't want to lose what they had.
No, because
It's like an abusive relationship. I can get out of it, but what what am I going to lose? How's it going to change my life?
Become superstars.
Right.
Well, how did the kids not bring it up before to their moms or something like, wait, what he just said doesn't add up? You know what I mean? Put the pieces together.
I think that's the good old molester's trick about you don't talk about this with anybody. Everyone's
our secret.
Everyone's out to get me, and they're gonna not believe you and hate you, and
Gotcha.
we won't be able to be friends anymore. And that's probably one of the easier ones for them to pull off.
This segment's got to end because I want to make so many jokes and I cannot do it.
All right, I'll start. I don't recommend this. It didn't need to be this long, and I think it was a poorly shot documentary. I don't recommend it. I'll just leave it with that.
Yeah, watch part 1, but forget part 2. That's what I did.
I would say don't watch it.
Yeah.
We've heard all we need to know through media outlets before we even saw this.
Yep. So what's our recommendation for next month?
All right, so I've got one that hits close to home that I'm really pissed off about. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, how about?
I don't want to go there, but it's called it's an HBO special. It's called The Inventor, and it's called Out for Blood in Silicon Valley. And I'll give you a little bit of the kind of the synopsis. This lady invested a ton of money to revitalize how they do blood sampling. Instead of taking a lot of blood to do multiple tests, she could do the same amount of testing with a minimal amount of blood, and it's going to revolutionarily just kill the healthcare industry and just help a lot of people. And it collapsed because she lied, and we'll get into it then from there. So
that's Theranos.
Yes.
Theranos,
yeah.
Thermos.
I won't get into it, but at one point,
what's her name though? Figure it out by the next one, I guarantee.
Yes, because I'm going to be mad. I'll have some.
What's the name of the documentary?
Out for Blood in Silicon Valley.
Out for Blood in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, she was just a smart investor, but it all crashed on her.
Yeah.
So
I've got some theories on this bitch.
Oh man, I'm so mad at her.
We'll see if they're true.
So mad at her.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
All right, thanks guys.